Hey, what's up, Harbor Hawks fans? We are now joined by our new field manager, Mitch Karraker. Skip, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me in the preseason. I know you've got a busy season yourself. You're still coaching, but finding a little bit of time for me to sit down and talk.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jacob. Looking forward to the summer and looking forward to talking a little Harbor Hawks today.
I know there's a lot to be excited for this Cape Cod Baseball League season, but let's get a little bit of a glimpse on you as a coach. You're currently the Fresno City College coach. You had an illustrious time at Oregon where you played. So take us through a little bit of what your experience has been like to get the fans to get to know your baseball life a little bit and how you think that's developed you into the person you are today.
Sure. From Fresno, California, originally. Played high school ball out here, and then played at Fresno City College, where I now coach. And then went, like you said, had an opportunity to play at Oregon for 3 years, which was an unbelievable experience. They kind of had a hiatus from a baseball program. They brought it back when I first got there, so it was kind of cool to build a program from scratch up there. And then when I was done playing, I started coaching and just absolutely fell in love with it. Coached at Oregon for about 8 years, coached at Baylor University in Waco, Texas for a couple years, and then coached at Loyola Marymount in Los Angeles for a year before taking this job. And then some summer experience as well. I coached in the West Coast League, coached on Team USA for a couple of summers, done a bunch of camps and clinics, kind of how summers go for young coaches, and been really lucky and fortunate to be around some great people, some great players, and it's kind of helped mold me into the kind of coach that I am today, kind of taking little bits and pieces from every place that I've been and every coach that I've had an opportunity to work for. And here I am. I'm fortunate to be the head coach at Fresno City College now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to now being the Harbor Hawks manager.
You talk about the experience of being the coach now of where you played and started your collegiate career. How gratifying is that to now lead this group of men that you see yourself in a little bit?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool opportunity. Anytime you get to come home and my family's here, my wife's family's here. I mean, that's pretty special, especially when we have three young kids, three girls, 5, 3, and 1. And that's a really, really cool opportunity for me. And then also having the experience of I've been in their shoes before, right? And so I know what they're going through, the recruiting process of junior college life, and the rigors of baseball at this level can be demanding on a young man. And so I think having that experience myself and already kind of walk through their shoes a little bit kind of helps me give them a little bit of perspective and some insight on, hey, what's the next steps? How can I get to where I'm going, and all that kind of stuff.
You touched upon it a little bit. You've coached in summer ball before. This will be your first time coaching on the Cape. What do you think you can take from your West Coast League head coaching position within that league and bring that into Cape Cod?
Yeah, I think summer ball is unique where you get, kids from all over the country coming from coaching staffs with different philosophies, different goals, right? And each individual player, is unique in their own way, right? The type of player that they are, what they're looking to do, the talent level is a little bit different from guy to guy. I think the really cool thing about the Cape is they're all really high level players, and not that the West Coast League wasn't. It was still really, really good baseball, but everybody knows the Cape's a little bit different. And so um, summer ball to me is an opportunity for guys to develop, to showcase their skills, to meet guys from around the country, which is a really cool opportunity. And I think my experience in the West Coast League of guys kind of coming in and out and not really knowing, what their role is and what they're trying to do, and it's such a short amount of time. I think the relationship part is a huge thing to me. So making sure we establish those relationships before the guys get up here, trying to get guys connected, maybe even before they even see each other, is important. And then trying to have that continuity. So when they get there, they're a little bit more familiar with me, our staff, each other, and then hopefully that translates into winning some ball games.
You talk about ultimately those relationships, and those are some of those relationships you have for the rest of your life. What do you think? The Cape is so special in the fact that you are with these guys day in and day out. It's somewhat a little unlike college ball where there's not too many days off. How do you how do you develop those relationships, especially in summer when there are some times that you aren't able to develop those relationships away from the field?
Yeah, I think, because it's every single day, it's cool because you have the opportunity to just kind of talk to guys, right? And so I think more than just, okay, let's take batting practice, take infield, outfield, and let's go play. There might be some days where we change it up a little bit, where it's small group sessions, or maybe I'm just floating around the outfield, just checking in on guys and, hey, how are things at home? How's your host family? All that kind of stuff. And I think as a coach, it's important to invest in their interests off the field just as much as their interests on the field. And I think if they understand that you care about them beyond what they do in the stat sheet, I think that goes a long way. So that's my job, to try to kind of build those relationships in a short amount of time, as well as, hey, maybe we do a show and go and we do a team outing somewhere. We do mini golf or bowling or something to kind of, like you said, how can we build those relationships in such a short amount of time? Well, that kind of naturally happens on a team, but there's ways that we can kind of help foster that a little bit as well.
And then what makes Hyannis so special on the Cape is their advancement in technology and using baseball technology to their advantage. And one of the biggest things about you coming in is that you shared the same vision with Nick Johnson and our general manager and the staff the front office has and the view they have. So can you talk us through your view of what baseball technology will play for this Harbor Hawks team, you think?
Yeah, it's an incredible tool. And, let's just take my team, for example. I've had an opportunity to work with our guys from August all the way until now. So I have a really good understanding of who they are, what they can do, all that kind of stuff. In summer ball specifically, we're getting to know these kids in a very short amount of time, and we need them to perform on a day-to-day basis, right? So we can use some of those metrics, that technology, to kind of help give us a better picture of who they are and what can make them successful. And I think that's a really cool thing now with baseball, is we can put measurables to things that we couldn't do in the past, right? And so there is for sure a balance in that, because there's still the human element of the game, and dealing with players and their mental capacity and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of the skill set and how we can put guys, like pitching specifically, in certain roles, and how can we match up hitters so they're most successful in certain situations, I think that's going to be one of the most valuable tools that we use, is some of the technology that's available to us.
It's always great to hear when you have the ability. So how are you going to shift maybe your game strategy? So unfamiliar with your game fans are, what do you think is your style of baseball and how do you expect that to play throughout the course of the summer?
That's a great question. It really depends on personnel, right? Like who do you have?
Yeah.
What kind of tools are in your tool belt to run this type of offense that you like, or to build a pitching staff the way you want to. So, we're looking up and down our roster and saying, okay, how do we want to build an offense that can score runs, right? That's our first priority, is to score runs. So for us, we want to be able to put pressure on defense. We want to be able to run, put the ball in play, steal bases. We also want to hit doubles and homers. That's all good too. But we want to be extremely well-rounded in what we do as well. So I think Nick and the staff has done a great job of building a roster around that concept of, hey, we can do a little bit of everything. So when we run into a really good arm that maybe we won't be able to hit that day, maybe we can do some inside games, some stolen base, some hit and runs, some different things to manufacture some runs when it might be really difficult to score some runs, right? And then there's going to be days where we just hit, and that's just baseball, and it's a slugging contest, right? From a pitching perspective, we want guys that can throw strikes first and foremost. We want strikes, guys that will give us a chance to play defense behind them, and not, to me, at our level and at every level, the more you can eliminate the freebies, walks, hit by pitches, errors, pass balls, wild pitches, that kind of stuff, the better chance you have for success. And so that starts on the mound, throwing strikes, and then obviously the quality of stuff is important. Are they competitors? Are they willing to be a team guy? All that kind of stuff goes into play.
Gotta love it. Gotta score runs. I like it. It sounds simple, but sometimes it can get a little tough in there, especially when you're in the weeds of it. So we talked about baseball, but I want to talk about, we got to get to know you as the person beyond baseball. So I hear you're a big cook. Do you got a
Hmm.
recipe that's like your numero uno? Like, I got to go to the recipe book. If I'm having people over, this is what I'm going to.
Yeah, my wife during COVID got me a pizza oven, and
Okay.
I have, and during that same time, she started making sourdough bread. So I'm like, okay, well, we got a pizza oven. She makes sourdough. Let's make sourdough crusted pizza. So now it's kind of a tag team effort with us where she'll help me make the dough. I got a nice sauce recipe that I'm really confident in. And then it's a free for all, right? Bring whatever toppings you want. And I'm going to be honest with you, the first couple of tries were not so successful. That pizza oven could get a little tricky sometimes. But I think we've got it down now where it's one of our favorite recipes to make. Obviously, our kids love it, friends love it. It's super easy, and it's kind of that go-to that who doesn't like pizza, right?
It's a safe bet whenever you're having people over. You gotta, it's always, like you said, anyone can put anything on pizza like that.
That's
So
right.
no matter the restrictions, you can always find a way around it for the most part.
That's right, for sure.
And then you talk about coming to the Cape. Besides baseball, what might be your biggest thing you're most excited for about coming to Cape Cod for the summer?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody that I've talked to, I've had friends that have played out there, coached out there. Scott Pickler has been a good resource for me, who's a manager up at YD, and they just say it's the most incredible summer you'll ever have. And I think just the beauty of it, you look at the pictures and everything like that. And knowing that my kids can walk down to the beach whenever they want is pretty cool. And I know my wife is super excited about that. I love to golf. And so I hear there's some pretty good courses out there as well. So I think, for us, it's a little bit of a vacation, and it's kind of surreal to think about like being in a place like that for 2 months. Um, but I mean, I'm really excited about the baseball. If I'm being completely honest, just the level of play and the the aura around the Cape and what it stands for and what it's meant to baseball and its community is pretty special. And so, being able to be in the fraternity of the Cape Cod is an opportunity that I'm so grateful for.
And you talk about the illustrious history and you make those connections with guys that can go play at that next level. What do you think sometimes is the biggest misconception you see in development of baseball that you think you might want to correct?
Oh man, that's a really good question. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of guys that are looking for the quick fix these
Hmm.
days, and I think technology kind of gives us that a little bit. Is sometimes, oh well, let's just look at the numbers and we can fix it with this and that. And um, this game is really hard, and I think people need to understand that. And it's not a 1 week process. It's not a 2 week process. It's trying to get growth over a long period of time. And when we're dealing with 18 to 20-year olds, they're still developing physically, mentally. And I think, obviously their best baseball is ahead of them. But the patience is important when you're developing guys, is not pressing and expecting results right away, because you could do everything right and still line out to the shortstop or the center fielder and get out, right? So what redefining success has been a huge point of emphasis, at least for our team specifically, of like, hey, if you're doing something, or like, understand what success is. Did I hit a ball hard? Did I execute a pitch? If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. Sometimes we can't control that, but understanding, there's going to be failure in this game, and how can we handle it appropriately and make ourselves understand, like, success isn't just the batting average and the strikeouts and all that kind of stuff. Success goes way beyond that, and trying to help kids understand that is one of the most difficult things that I've experienced, especially in the last 3 or 4 years.
It's what makes being a coach so rewarding at the end of the day is taking those players to that next level, which every
No
Harbor
doubt.
Hawk fan hopes to see you do this summer. But before we end, we got to play a little fun game of this or that because we got to get to
Okay.
know you a little bit quicker. We got to keep you on your feet here. So
Okay.
we'll start with this or that. Sandals or Crocs?
Ooh, sandals.
Okay, sandals. Mac or PC?
Mac.
Okay. Sweet or salty?
Salty.
A chip guy, I see. Vacation or staycation?
Vacation.
All right, nice. And then this is hopefully a gimme. Beach or mountains? Oh,
Mountains.
wow, went with the
Yeah.
mountains, even though. All
Yeah.
right.
I'm an Oregon guy. I mean, there's something about being up in the mountains that I absolutely love. But I mean, you can't go wrong either way.
Can't go wrong either way. And we'll finish with Cape Cod got some great ice cream. And I know the broadcast team this summer is really excited to try it all out. So it's the basic question: vanilla or chocolate?
Oh, vanilla.
Staying to your roots. I appreciate it, Skip.
Yeah.
Our new field manager, Mitch Karraker, right here for the Harbor Hawks. We're looking forward to another great summer. Thanks so much, Skip.
Thanks, Jake. I appreciate it.